Thank you for visiting Quantum Dude. If you like this video, please subscribe and support our sponsors. Los Angeles in 1991 was more than just a city, it was a state of mind. A cultural battlefield where the forces of authority clashed with those seeking true freedom. It was a place where cinematic history was made, a landscape where filmmakers dissected the American psyche and the burdens of modern civilization. 3 films in particular stand as testaments to this era: Point Break, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and The Big Lebowski, though released in 1998, but actually set in 1991. Each of these films presents a different take on the struggle between individualism and the crushing weight of societal expectations. At the heart of all 3 lies a singular philosophy: society is a machine that demands conformity, but true free thinkers will always fight to escape its grip. Catherine Bigelow's Point Break is, on its surface, a film about FBI agent Johnny Utah infiltrating a gang of surf-obsessed bank robbers led by the enigmatic Bodhi. But beneath the high-octane heists and massive waves, the film is an existential battle between 2 opposing worldviews. Utah, a former college football star turned government agent, represents the ideal citizen, disciplined, ambitious, and bound by duty. Bodhi, by contrast, is a philosopher of the ocean, a man who refuses to be chained by the 9-to-5 drudgery of modern life. The tension between them is not just that of cop versus criminal, but of a man torn between the life he was told to live and the one he instinctively craves. Utah begins as an agent of order, but Bodhi seduces him with a radical truth. Society is a cage, and only those willing to risk everything can experience true freedom. But even Bodhi, for all his talk of transcendence, is still trapped in a cycle. He relies on crime to sustain his existence, and his philosophy, while noble, ultimately leads to destruction. The final scene, where Utah allows Bodhi to meet his fate in the ocean rather than face a cell, is not an act of justice, but of understanding. Utah has come to see that some men cannot live in society without losing themselves. While Point Break presents a human battle between freedom and responsibility, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, takes it to an apocalyptic scale. James Cameron's sequel to the Terminator is not just about preventing nuclear annihilation. It is about whether humanity is capable of preventing its own self-destruction. The T-800, a literal machine, sees the patterns of human behavior and understands that people are programmed to destroy themselves. In a grim echo of Bodhi's philosophy, the Terminator recognizes that society as it stands is doomed. Sarah Connor, much like Johnny Utah, has seen beyond the illusions of civilization. She understands that governments and systems are not built to save people, but to control them. Her descent into near madness is not insanity, it is clarity. Like Bodhi, she rejects the comfortable lies of the world, but instead of surfing into oblivion, she arms herself for war. John Connor, caught between his mother's paranoia and the machine's cold logic, is forced to navigate a world where both freedom and safety seem impossible. Yet, in a bitter twist, it is the machine, the one entity supposedly devoid of human emotion, that ultimately shows the most growth. The Terminator learns the value of human life, not because society teaches him, but because he observes individuals who refuse to conform to the destructive tendencies of their world. His final sacrifice is a silent condemnation of mankind's fate. Without change, they will destroy themselves. Though The Big Lebowski was released in 1998, it is firmly rooted in 1991, a time of uncertainty and existential exhaustion. The dude, like Bodhi, is a man who refuses to be molded by societal expectations. He does not chase wealth, power, or even justice, he simply is. In a world obsessed with status and ambition, his mere existence is an act of defiance. The film itself is a rejection of the traditional hero's journey. The dude stumbles through a series of conflicts not of his making, refusing to become invested in a world that has long since stopped making sense. In many ways, The Big Lebowski is the final chapter in the trilogy of 1991's cinematic philosophy. If Bodhi represented the thrill-seeker willing to risk everything to escape society's grip, and the Terminator represented the cold reality that humanity is beyond saving, then the dude represents the final option: detachment. He does not fight the system, nor does he try to fix it. He simply exists within it, refusing to let it define him. Bodhi and the Dude, though seemingly polar opposites, are both spiritual ancestors of the Terminator. They reject the illusion of control that society sells, understanding that happiness cannot be found within the rigid structures of modern life. Bodhi tries to transcend through adrenaline and risk, the Dude through apathy and relaxation. But both recognize the same truth: to live by society's rules is to live a life of confinement. The Terminator, though a machine, ultimately embodies their philosophy in its purest form. He sees that people are programmed for destruction, that their systems are built on control, and that those who break free are either hunted down, like Bodhi, or pushed to the margins, like the Dude. But rather than accept this fate, he chooses to break his own programming, to act not as an agent of fate, but as an individual. His final act, self-destruction, is his own version of Bodhi's last wave, or the Dude's ultimate detachment. He removes himself from the equation, knowing that some things cannot be changed. Los Angeles in 1991 was a city teetering on the edge, between past and future, order and chaos, freedom and control. The films set in this world, Point Break, Terminator 2, and The Big Lebowski, all grapple with the same fundamental question: is it possible to be truly free in a society designed to control? Bodhi, the Dude, and the Terminator each offer different answers. Bodhi believes in rebellion, the Dude in indifference, and the Terminator in sacrifice. But all three reject the idea that life's purpose is to merely exist within a system that offers only the illusion of choice. They are free thinkers in a world that punishes free thought, seekers of meaning in an era of disillusionment. 1991 was not just another year in cinematic history, it was a moment of reckoning, a time when films spoke to the soul of a society struggling to define itself. And in their own ways, Bodhi, the Dude, and the Terminator all left behind the same message: the system is rigged, the game is unwinnable, and the only way to truly be alive is to break free, no matter the cost.